Our guest today didn't just ask for a seat at the table, she demanded excellence from everyone sitting at it. Moving from Scotland's energy sector to Malta's high-stakes hangars, she is the force behind Women in Aviation Malta, turning a passion project into a powerful commercial driver for industry diversity. Making sure that no talented woman is left on the tarmac, please welcome founder and managing director, Ruth Sawers. And we're into it. Here we are. Welcome to Temple Talks.
Thank you so much.
Ruth, so happy to have you here.
Thank you.
I know a little bit about you, but for our audience that may know nothing about you, how would you describe yourself in a few words?
Me personally?
Well, wherever you want to
go. Just turned 50, so far calmer than I
right
used
behind
to be.
You. I'm right behind you.
Than I used to be, put it that way. I think most people would know me as someone who's passionate about work, confident in myself, and likes to push the boundaries on occasion.
Okay, good. We need people like that in the world, for sure. For sure.
I try.
Good. We're going to kick off with the Temple Talks box of questions.
Okay.
You may have come across this. Is it a series of questions at random? You're not going to have to answer all of them, but You're going to choose one, read it out, and answer it for us, and we'll see where the conversation goes.
Heavens.
First challenge, open the box.
I know. Can't even manage that. Okay, if you were a captain, what would your signature welcome over the PA system catchphrase? What would be your signature welcome over the PA system catchphrase?
That puts you on the spot.
I know.
I wouldn't like that question, but I like the question.
Welcome to Ruth's ride, reliable and reassuring all day long.
I love it. That's good. That's a great soundbite. Do you like to fly?
No, I'm terrified.
Okay.
It's quite funny actually, because as I said, I've just turned 50, and for one of my presents from my friends was a trial flight. So that was interesting for me. I laugh because it's women in aviation, marine and transport.
Yes.
Scared of flying. I get seasick and I have no driving license. So it's like, what a
this
great...
This is for real?
Yes,
okay.
For sure.
Okay.
So I always laugh at me being an ambassador for these three things when actually all of them scare me or make me sick. So no, do I like to fly? No, I do not.
Okay.
Do I think it's a wonderful thing to be able to do? Absolutely.
Okay. And as a passenger, how are you flying as a passenger?
Scared.
Not even, just a scare.
Actually, since I've done my trial flight, I think I'm a little better. It seems a little bit calmer.
Okay.
And I understand that it's safe.
Okay.
But yeah.
So is that why you're still in Malta after a decade? It's like you
can't
arrived,
leave.
there's no way to leave.
There's no taxi to go, so then maybe one day that'll be it.
That's it. Good stuff. Okay, next question.
Still going?
Go. Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's my favourite part. Second favourite part.
It is. Okay. If you were given a private jet for 48 hours and could go anywhere in the world, but you can't take any work calls, where's the first stop? I think the first stop would be Scotland, and I'd pick up my friends from there.
Ah, nice.
And then we'd go somewhere very, very glamorous and drink far too much wine.
Okay, that sounds awesome.
Another one?
Yeah.
Heavens.
Have you ever flown on a PJ?
No. Isn't it ridiculous?
I know.
But one of my friends, he's from Australia, and he took a PJ back from Australia to Scotland. And I was like, you're doing okay. He said,
very
Ruth,
okay.
you work in the industry. And I said, exactly, Glenn. I work in the industry.
Okay.
I do not fly by the industry.
Okay. Is it something you'd like to do?
Yes. I mean, of course, wouldn't everyone? It's a nice experience.
Sure.
But it's not something I find necessary in my life.
Okay.
And going into that, champagne at a gala or a cold pint in a pub after a 12-hour shift. I think champagne at the gala on the Wednesday and then a cold pint on the Friday.
Why can't it be both?
Exactly.
Okay.
Why demand only one?
Any particular champagne or pint?
No, actually, I don't like lager, so it would be champagne at the gala and a nice glass of red or white on the Friday.
Glass of red or white. Brilliant. Okay, let's carry on. Let's carry on.
You're not letting me up on this, are you? What was the very first big career win in Malta that made you think, yes, moving here was the right move? I think actually probably when I started with Qualitaire, which was an aviation recruitment company.
Okay.
And previous to that, I'd always worked in recruitment, but it had never been aviation. And I was so happy in this world. And I walked into a hangar and I thought, yeah, this is good. This is where I want to be.
A good feeling.
I think that was, what made it.
Okay. And was that the starting point within aviation, or is there a backstory?
Yeah, that was the starting point in aviation. And really the starting point to women in aviation as well, because working in recruitment, going to so many events, and there was very few women.
Yeah.
So I thought, those that we have, why not get them all together and be asking them, man, you're happy in your job? And it was a recruitment process in the early days.
Okay.
And then that changed.
Okay, so Malta, I guess you're grateful then, because it's been a huge catalyst in your life in a way.
Yeah, for sure.
On a personal level, lifestyle.
Yeah, I think
as well as
I think all sides of it has benefited from moving here and living here.
Okay.
I think I as a person have grown. Whether that would have happened anyway, I don't know. Hard to tell, but yeah, Malta has been good to me.
Okay, let's put the box down for a moment. Might come back to it, and let's talk about women in aviation, marine, and transport. There you go. So what is it about, and how did it begin?
Sure.
And what do you do?
So women in aviation began before it was marine and transport as well. Women in aviation began 2019, and really it was a way for the women of aviation to get together, and as I said, to look at the recruitment side as well.
And this is localised to Malta?
Local, yeah. We had maybe, I think the first event, 20 or 30 ladies came along. And then it started to grow, and we started to realise, one, there's an issue here. Why are there not more women in it? And two, going to a lot of conferences through my actual work, I realised that skill shortage, and I was like, right, okay, why are we not doing something about this? It's all very well talking about it, but I think something needs to be done. Sure. So within my background of recruitment plus events, because I'd done events work as well, my mother being a teacher, there was that kind of understanding that we need to get the kids involved early to make sure that they're understanding properly all the options that are available to them as well. So Women in Aviation started as a limited company just 2.5 years ago. Okay. And the reasoning for that was I was working full time and doing this voluntary. I couldn't do that. It wasn't sustainable. So I thought, right, for me to be able to do what I think needs to be done and what I'd like to do, this has to be a full time. So I took the plunge and did the limited company. The first 6 months were absolutely terrifying. I think nobody quite understands how hard it is to start a business. One, on your own, and two, something that nobody really needs. I wasn't a joiner or a plumber, or not, they don't need that.
Yeah,
so why do they need my offering? Why do they need that? So a lot of convincing into.
So at that stage, what was the offering?
At that stage it was, so we do monthly events that all the staff of our corporate partners are then invited to. Okay. So through that, they're gaining a lot more of their own network, and then the knowledge sharing as well. Exactly. We go to different facilities through our corporate partners, so they're getting a bit of the PR, of the marketing, so they can show their future staff as well that they're on board and they're making the changes. It's really grown in what the offering was, what the offering is now, and the understanding of what we do. Even for myself, when we started, it was like, right, okay, let's go. And now it's just tweaking it a bit to let's make this work for everybody.
Exactly. And where do you begin with that? Because it's an industry, I think, from the outside looking in, that relies a lot on credibility of service providers and partners. And you're sort of stepping into that space with something new that perhaps people don't really believe they need it. What is the value proposition in it? So how did you go about actually selling the idea?
I think a lot of it they already knew because they knew me from the industry. Okay. They knew that I'd done it voluntary for the 3 years, and they could see their own staff that were involved gaining from it. Okay. They could see that their confidence was going up, that their own network was going up. If there's a problem in aviation, the likelihood is that someone else in aviation can solve that problem. But unless they're friends and have a nice conversation, they don't know how to solve that. So it's opening up the channels, really, a thing. So I think, and I was lucky in the way that it almost was set up as a business before it became a business, but it was 3 years of voluntary when it's not so easy to do that when you're, working full time. Okay,
and does it in its current sort of scenario, does it help young women wanting to enter into the industry?
Now kind of the 3 pillars of what we do is the corporate partners come on board, their staff then get invites to all the monthly events that we do. And we do different things, as I said, facility tours that we might go into. In fact, in June, we're going to EasyJet. nice tour around their hangars so that people get the understanding of what goes on there. And a lot of the time, somebody that works in business jet will never have been in the hangar the size of EasyJet Engineering here.
Yeah.
So again, it's like broadening their own horizons. And then we have a mentorship program that we run with MCAST, with an MOU with them.
Okay.
That's been for the last 2 years. Aviation, and now we've just included the marine and transport kids in there as well. So that offers every student in there a mentorship with someone from the industry. So I then set them up on a one-to-one with whoever they need to be working with.
Okay.
So yeah, it's good. And then the plan is going into the schools and sort of meeting with 10 to 12-year-olds so that we're getting them younger and younger.
Okay.
Hopefully, in time that will feed MCAST, and then MCAST in time will then feed the industry. So that's the plan.
Okay, that's good. So this is does that come sort of full circle to mum being a teacher and this idea of like early intervention?
It's possible, possible. That I never thought, I think anyone that has a parent as a teacher thinks I'm never going to go into that. But actually, I think there's something when I start to hold on to a clipboard, something inside me gets a little bit, I'll be like, I've got this. So there's something in it, perhaps.
It comes across that you really like that element of mentoring, coaching.
I think it's important. I think it's like, especially for young girls, and what we're seeing with MCAST is that MCAST is attracting young girls, but then they're doing very, very well at the course, but they're not coming into the industry.
Okay.
And it seems to be, from our understanding, that there's somewhere that we're missing that link. And it's not, if you have someone who you know in the industry, someone that you already met, that's not going to be so scary going into that first job. And we're losing the girls to them, perhaps the more female-centric roles when they're going back to work from, not hairdressing or whatever. And I don't mean that badly, but if you want to be a hairdresser, be a hairdresser.
Sure.
But don't do it because you're scared of aviation or scared of engineering.
Okay. Let's go from there then. So you've come from somewhere in Scotland. Between
over,
Aberdeen,
really.
Glasgow, and all over. And you've arrived in Malta. And you've been here long enough now. What some sort of like of your, I guess, separate from the industry and professional observations, what are the sort of social observations you've made, particularly around sort of gender discourse and these things?
Yeah,
I'd love to talk about this.
It is different. One of my friends who's Italian, she said to me the reason Scottish men are so nice is because they're terrified of Scottish women.
Okay.
There could be something in that. So perhaps Malta's still very patriarchal. The church still very much involved in politics. That's unheard of in a country like mine. So there is that difference. And I think that doesn't just trickle down. It becomes part of the landscape. So it is going a little bit against that. It is chipping away at that. And I don't want to be seen as someone who disrespects that. But at the same time, little changes do need to be made so that there's a fair playing field for the young girls as well.
I don't think it could ever be perceived as disrespectful at all. I think there's lots of things in let's not just say Malta, in the Mediterranean, southern part of Europe, which are kind of deep rooted in the very cultural DNA of society that is just so different when you're coming from another part of Northern Europe or another part of the world. But at the same time, the beautiful thing about Malta is that the kind of cultural diversity of the place is shifting massively as well. And how I perceive it is that this begins to actually confuse people around, I guess, issues of identity and agency and belonging and what have you. So you're, like it or not, you and what the organisation is doing is disrupting that to a certain point, but in a very, very positive.
Yeah, I'd like to think it's positive.
No,
and I think it is. Yeah,
absolutely.
I believe in it. Definitely, and it's doing good.
Definitely, and I think generally most people would be supportive of that. No one's going to kind of step in the way of that. But I think it's also, it's the small. You said chipping away. It's small steps, isn't it, to make those.
Yeah, I think when we first started, there was an age group of men, perhaps I should say. I don't know how to quite describe it.
Yeah, okay.
But certainly an older generation of men in aviation that found it, we don't need it. I don't know why you're doing that. It's fair for everyone. And I was like, well, if that was true, then we would have a little bit more than 10% women in this industry. So in the time that we've done it, there has been a change. And those gentlemen have definitely understood what we're trying to do and why we need to do it, rather than pushing us away as it was a little bit in the beginning. So yeah, it's slowly. Pick your battles and win the war.
Exactly. So you're kind of coaching and mentoring up and down the line
Well,
here.
do you know, as we go into MCAST and we go with the boys and the girls, because we really want to make sure that the boys understand that when they get to industry, to understand that everyone has the same starting blocks and that nobody's better than anyone else. I was in MCAST recently with a group of 17, 30-year-old boys. Sorry, 30, 17-year-old boys. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I was going in to speak to them about inclusion and diversity, and I thought, they're not going to care. They're not going to...
Okay.
These buzzwords are perhaps even overused a little bit for us. So it's like, why am I going to get them to understand? So the way I did, I said, listen, if you have a football team and there's 11 players and they're all excellent, but they're all goalkeepers, it's going to be the pretty boring team to watch.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, okay.
Okay.
So like trying to understand what their perception is and what my perception, and meet somewhere in the middle.
Sure.
To teach them what it's all about.
So it is really about awareness, education.
Yeah.
Learning every aspect of what you're talking about.
Everything is deep rooted in that. However, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Okay. Good. I hope so.
Yeah,
on the way. What about? Is there any particular sort of personal success stories you've seen? Like you've met with a young woman, for example, and you've paved the way for them to. Yeah,
I wouldn't say I've paved the way for them. I would say that
collectively.
Yeah, we have it, me, and then I have 8 ambassadors as well from all different areas of the industry. And they are the people that understand I'm not in any way an aviation professional. I'm just really good at getting people all together.
Good.
So it's going back to them. I think what my positive is that I can really fill them with confidence and say, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. And I've seen them go from strength to strength. We have one of my ambassadors who would never, ever go on the microphone or do a speech or speak, never.
Okay.
And eventually between myself and her boss, he's a man, and pushed her to say, yes, you can. Now you're doing it. And then the second time I saw her do it, she was so comfortable with that mic, just, saying, and I said, there we go. You see, if you just do it,
okay,
then the next time it'll be a little bit easier.
Okay.
So I think there's always little bits like that. We do so much outreach work when young girls will email me, WhatsApp me, they want to get into aviation but they don't know how to, and then we'll set them up to go visit for a half day or a couple of hours with one of the MROs or one of the business jet companies that we partner with. So they're getting exposure that they wouldn't get if we weren't here. Okay.
All right, let's continue with my box of questions.
Super.
Do love this.
I know, it puts you off the hot seat and me back into it. Okay. What is the most useless thing you've ever packed for a trip just in case and then never touched? The only true answer to this is probably far too many pairs of knickers. I don't know what I expect I'm going to do, how many accidents I'm going to have a day. I honestly can't think of another answer.
I think that's a generational and regional thing, I reckon. Something like that.
I'll do another one. So I've just closed a massive deal for WIAM. What are we popping? Is it vintage champagne or are we heading to the local pub? We're heading to the local pub.
Local pub.
Yeah, we need to give them back our... what's the word I'm looking for? Gone. Do another one.
No, I like that. Pubs.
No.
Let's talk pubs in Malta. Have you found a good drinker for an after work? There isn't really I don't find that culture very much here.
No, it's not. And that's quite funny actually, because quite often people will say to me, one of our clients, Emirates, and he'll say to me, he used to work in the UK and always that he would really enjoy on a Friday afternoon, everyone go. And he said, we
Friday,
don't do it here.
Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And they don't really do that here. But
no, it's different. It's actually for a society that's like really fluid and sort of in the moment. I find Malta really kind of spontaneous. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. Let's go to the beach.
Yeah.
That sort of the social thing is quite structured actually. It's like we make a plan. We go to a particular event.
This is probably a really lovely thing about Malta. It's so family centred.
Yes.
But on a Friday, people go home to their families.
Yeah. Exactly.
Whereas we'll go to the pub.
Exactly.
But I think it's nice.
Yeah, but even bars, pubs, it's like there's no dividing line of age as well, because it can still be family as well. Which is kind
exactly.
of nice.
I think for us, Like even when my sister came over, when my nieces were little, they'd say, "Oh, it's 8 o'clock. We need to get out of the pub." Be annoying people. I said, "No, it's fine.
No,
as long as they're
no.
not running around annoying."
You've got a ticket till midnight
Yeah, you're fine.
or
Relax.
2 in the morning. That's it. Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's do another question.
Oh my goodness. If you had to change your name and start a new life as a professional athlete, what sport are you playing? Well, considering I just bought new golf clubs after one of our events at the golf club. They had us there, and very nice, very kindly, they allowed us to come and visit them. It was 40 women and men, majority who have never ever swung a club in their life. So well done, Royal Malta Golf Club. And I think I would enjoy that because it's nice and slow, relaxed, but also it's really good to whack it really hard when you need to. So that would be my treat.
Yeah. Obviously not thinking of anyone in particular as you whack that.
No,
No,
not at all.
That's good. Yeah, Malta Golf Club, they've kind of got the monopoly on it. There's nowhere else to play, is there? So,
no, but it's lovely.
Yeah, never been.
You should go.
Recommended.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do last question.
What is the scent of your childhood? Is it cut grass, sea salt, or maybe something cooking in the kitchen? Probably cut grass, yeah. I grew up very much in Aberdeenshire, which is very countryside.
Yes.
And that smell of cut grass, and you don't get that here.
No, you don't get that
no,
here.
It's very few and far between you get that waft coming in Malta, but that would probably be it.
So did you find yourself, I'll take that from you. Do you find yourself needing to leave the island, particularly to go and seek out greener pastures, just to have a break?
Sometimes. I think the green is missed. I mean, we have the beautiful blue instead, which is lovely. Yeah. But the green is missed. Marsascala, where I live, is lovely. That's really one of the reasons I moved down there. So to be able to go on these hill cliff walks. Unfortunately, again, we just had a lovely new front boardwalk put in.
Okay.
And not a tree to be seen. So it's like get that one a bit wrong. It would be nice to have a few more trees.
Marsascala, that's a great place.
It's lovely.
To be. Is that easy? Do you work from home or your office?
Yeah, I work from home.
So that makes
but then I would say probably out for meetings 2-3 days out of that. So
okay.
I have some human contact, which is quite nice.
That's good. One of my favourite coffee shops, I think, is Marsascala. It was Jacob's.
Oh it's brilliant, isn't it? They're and they do a lot of good as well there.
Yeah, I love that spot. It's like I'm in a kind of old seaside town.
Just
sat there.
Yeah, it's nice.
Very good. Okay, let's talk about now your journey and what you've done and how that might inspire others. I know no one likes to hear that. But so thinking about young people in particular, like what would you see, I guess the starting point is, what would you see as the key challenges, particularly I think for young women, but it could be young men as well, boys, young men, and how the industry has changed or what is coming up in the future where, you really need to consider what skills base could be unique.
Sure, excuse me. I think one of the key issues that the young kids have is exposure. Unless they have a mum, a dad, an auntie, and uncle that work in the industry, it's not an industry that tends to be recognised an awful lot.
Okay.
And what we've come to understand is teachers, careers advisors don't really also have an understanding of it.
Okay.
A friend of mine who's actually the chairwoman of the Chamber of Engineers was at a careers fair recently, and a school of young ladies were ushered past that stall to say, this isn't for you, this isn't for you.
Okay.
So it's like, I think it's not just parents that need education or teachers that need educated.
Okay.
It's across the board that everyone needs
really
a little bit more to understanding of that there are roles for everybody.
Exactly.
And not just even, engineering, okay, you need to be smart. Yeah, but there's other roles there, or accounts, admin.
Yeah, of course.
There's planning. There's loads and loads of different exciting
So
careers.
how do we go about shifting the mentality there? Because this is like any kind of issue. I don't really like that word, but any issue that needs some element of discussion to move it forward.
Yeah.
Unless you can shift that at the breakfast table at home, basically, in the very actions of the people around and having that direct influence on our children. How do
I
you
think
go
again,
about
well,
changing
I would
this?
say that the networking group is really successful with that because it's not just for people that are in aviation. There's also guests that will come from here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah.
They'll be invited, and they'll go home and they'll say, "Do you know? I didn't know that this was available in aviation." So that just passing it through, dripping it out there, and hopefully some of the right people pick it up. It's hard, like working with the government. Transport Malta are excellent. Everyone's so busy. So how can, it's not a private, I'm a private limited company.
Yes. Yeah.
Why am I doing all this? Why is it up to me? But no one else is. So I kind of think, right, well, it is up to me. But then it's up to my ambassadors. Then it's up to the members. So it's up to all of us really to be making sure that it is passed on, the information is passed on. And I definitely think it's a lot about around the breakfast table in the morning or around the dinner table in the evening.
Exactly.
It's every kid that I've spoken to who has become or going into aviation had a mum or a dad that said, I'll support you. So it's not
inspiring.
Yeah.
But it just may not even be on the kind of radar of
exactly. And if you don't
people.
know, that's what I'm saying, if you don't have the mum or dad that works within it, or you didn't have an auntie or the mum dad didn't have a friend that works within it, how do you know? You don't. So that's what we need to get the
And Malta,
get the word
I guess,
out.
is a really viable career choice for people as a hub.
Yeah. There's always going to be aviation in Malta.
Say again.
There's always going to be aviation in Malta and marine.
Yeah.
As you say, we can't go anywhere unless we have it.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
It's very important.
Exactly. That's for me is actually interesting to think about it like that, because we talk about certain sectors, business sectors. It doesn't always come up there in the sort of the top 3, 4, 5. And it should. I think it probably does.
Yeah.
Does sit there. For you, if could this be any sector, industry, business sector, or is it aviation that is a big pull to you? Because as we're talking, I'm getting the feeling it's like, no, where there's something to be challenged and there's space for growth.
Yeah,
you could turn that.
And I think that's why we added the marine and the transport wings as well, because it was like, well, it's been successful in aviation. Okay, I've set it up. I understand what I'm doing there now. Right, let's go and hit marine and transport as well and see what we can do there and see how we can help and support there. But other than that, no, I don't think it would be any other industries. Coming from an oil and gas background, there's no love there for it at all. It's quite a greedy industry, I would say, and obviously it's not great for the environment. I know people say that aviation and marine is not great for the environment, but it's an awful lot less abusive than oil and gas.
Oil and gas. Okay.
Yeah, I think I'll stick with the 3 for now anyway.
Good. Very, very good. Aviation, I guess, is like many sectors, high value sectors, is highly competitive. Yeah?
Yeah.
Would you see it as that, or there's gaps within the market for people to enter?
It's competitive in that for staff, people really want to look after the staff and they really want to retain their staff. The beautiful thing about it, and this happens in Malta that I haven't seen in other countries, and I don't know whether it's because we're small or just because we're also nice here, but it's really collaborative.
Okay.
Everyone in aviation wants Aviation Malta 9H to win. So whether they work for competitors, they still want the overall 9H to win.
Okay.
Which is fantastic. Competitive as in, yes, when it comes to staff, because that's where the pain point is for most companies.
Okay. So that's in terms of recruitment and then retention of staff. But for someone applying for a role, there's opportunity there. There's gaps for people to enter in.
Yeah.
Okay. So how does this sit in terms of, I mean, I'm thinking about other sectors, not just aviation, and you'll share with us your thoughts on that, about a togetherness in terms of gender diversity, women working together to achieve more through this kind of idea of sisterhood.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting idea, and I think that's something that we've really worked hard on, and within our members, it's very, very good. The feeling of support and help, and people say that it's not just me making that up. That's the feedback I get, that since they joined us, they really do feel like they're part of something and part of something supportive. There is still women who will be down on other women. I was at a meeting recently, and after an hour and a half with her HR, she said to me, I said, there's not many women in this office, we need to get some more. And she said, I don't like employing women, I think they're bitchy.
Wow.
And this is after, with me.
This is an HR manager.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, right, okay, if you're saying that to me after an hour and a half meeting about gender diversity and inclusion, this is a tricky one.
No concept of the best person for the job.
Yeah, so that happens. There's still this idea that women are a certain type and men are a certain type, and I don't believe that at all. I think there's the best person for the job. 100%. And in some cases that'll be men, in some cases that'll be a woman. Definitely. But it's got nothing to do with their gender.
No, it's completely regardless. It has nothing to do with it at all.
I think what comes down to it quite a lot of the time is that it comes down to a level of confidence within themselves and a level of exposure and experience that they've had. Now, can it be that some men have had more exposure to different aspects of the industry? Is that where we're coming in now to make sure that women were leveling that playing field a little bit? Do men have naturally more confidence than women? Do you know what? I'd probably say in some cases, yeah.
I think it's more about a sense of entitlement.
Well, I didn't want to say that.
No, say it. I can say it. I can own that. Because I would say,
men don't question themselves, whereas women will. They'll say, I'm not sure if I'm ready for that. I'm not sure if I can do that yet. Whereas a man is more likely to say, yes, I can do that. And find out later if you can. So there is that kind of build that we need to make sure that women are pushing themselves a little bit further, a little bit harder than they are at the moment. Now, when it comes to sisterhood, I don't like it. I don't think that it's something we need to push because all our members are male and female, and our corporate partners are male and female. And there's some men that are far, far more supportive than there are some women. Sure. So is it supportive? Yeah. Is it that we're here to make sure that more women are in higher senior management roles and get more girls? Yeah. Is it girls and boys and men and women that are doing that? Yes. Mm-hmm. So I think although a sisterhood, I'd like to say it's a humanhood.
A humanhood. Yeah. I like that. That's right. And that's how it should be because,
I think so.
Without sounding like an idealist, that should be the starting point.
The thing is that be an idealist. Why not? Say, like, if we start that way and we say that this is the way it's going to be and this is how we're going to work, then that's the way we're going to do it. If we keep saying men over here and women over there, it's not going to ever work. We have to be friends. Definitely.
But there's so many, discrimination operates at so many levels, and we need smarter people.
Yeah, and I think we need smarter people, but we need to challenge ourselves and our own perceptions as well. Because even I've done it. Everyone's done it, thinking.
Definitely.
I remember on my CV years ago, before Women in Aviation, I have to say, but I had child-free, and that would put my application above someone else's.
That took a second to register.
Yeah.
I was like, well, okay, right.
Yeah, because I can go when I want, I can travel, I have the ability to do that. And then I think about it now, and I think, wow.
So you use that as a selling point?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, okay.
And then I think I wasn't, before I started Women in Aviation, before I was really thinking about those things. And I think, wow, I was doing that. I was putting myself above someone else for the opportunity because I didn't have children and she does.
Well, the question is, why would you feel you would have to do that? But then that's a time and a place and a generation.
Because working in recruitment, you know who gets the job, the person that doesn't have the ties.
It's funny. Yeah, I personally don't see the world in that way. And I'm not naive enough to say others don't. So, people are making... people in this instance are making choices based on... Yeah, no,
as a friend of mine, and he is a dear friend, and he owns an aviation company here, and he said to me he doesn't employ women because they get pregnant.
Yep, I've heard that.
What do you do with that? But that's where we need to push other changes. We need to make sure the maternity levels are better, the paternity levels are better, so that both both mum and dad are taking the fair share.
And shift the balance of leadership.
Yeah. Basically. Otherwise it's never really it's always going to be that problem.
Yeah, definitely. You're opening my eyes because not opening my eyes. I mean, you're raising something that isn't discussed very often.
It's the same thought processes I had to go through when I thought I've done that to another woman, put that on my CV.
Yeah.
So it's like, right.
Okay.
And as I say that, we have to challenge ourselves and make sure that our own perceptions are where they should be, correct and right.
Definitely. The whole sort of like togetherness, sisterhood thing, though. This is really on vogue. Right at the moment, because you see the LinkedIn posts and social messaging of people. Do you think that's just sort of like emptiness from people, or it's coming from a good place, or it's just someone jumping on the bandwagon?
I grew up in the area of the Spice Girls, so it's been girl power all my life.
Sorry, just a side note, like intermission. Favorite Spice Girl?
Probably Scary.
Yeah, okay.
That doesn't shock you, does it?
Yeah, I think if I had a moment to think, I would have said, yeah, Scary Spice.
No.
That's Mel B.
Mel B was scary, yeah.
Yeah. She's not that scary.
No, she was nice.
She's out there. Great sense of
She's
style.
just confident.
Exactly. But you say that, like, Spice Girls, that's a significant phenomenon, I think. Like, that it was probably, well, definitely not valued at the time. It was very gimmicky, I think it was received. You say it's actually quite important in terms
it made
of
a huge difference to a
shift
lot
of
of
mindset.
young women, yeah.
Absolutely. And lots of groups and things that came up after that and kind of changed the landscape in a small way. Maybe what we need is another Spice Girls.
I'll get my dancing shoes on.
Time to get to it. But on that, and what I was going to mention, just thinking of what you were saying, another observation of mine, which I don't know if it's a global thing or if it's a Maltese thing, but International Women's Day. Let's talk about that. So I guess my awareness as a younger man was probably around International Women's Day and working in a large organisation and being involved in kind of sort of networking and meetings and discussions. Kind of opened my mind to a different way of seeing things and thinking things, especially around HR, recruitment, and this sort of stuff. So this idea of the best person for the job, it always doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what you look like. This is how it should function. So International Women's Day, what I've seen, again, I guess it's a bit like the sisterhood trend, maybe, where it's kind of there in principle, but maybe it's not really backed up with anything really solid. What I observe in well, at least in Malta, this is my environment, is that it's actually something. It's a single event on a day, which seems to have been taken over by men to a certain extent, and you see these kind of sort of. I'm thinking about like social media stories that pop up, politicians, business leaders that do these men. These grand sweeping statements
here's a
on one day.
rose to everyone.
Yeah, it's like everyone's going to get a rose, and I was like, what am I going to do with this rose?
Yeah.
And the
Is
message.
that what women want? No.
I don't think so.
Not when they're getting paid.
If they do, tell me.
Yeah.
No,
less and
but it's like
zero childcare. I think they'd probably help out with that a bit better.
Exactly. This really kind of dilutes the messaging, and I've picked on Women's Day because it's something that most people would be kind of aware of. We could be talking about Black History Month or other moments within our kind of cultural awareness calendars. But like, do you think these? I don't know where I'm going with this. I guess I wanted to see what your thoughts were on that and how an opportunity is lost in that moment, and it becomes so for me the observation is men have taken this over, women have just kind of been deceived, but they're kind of colluding with the behaviour in a lot of instances. Would that ring true where it's like, oh look,
to a certain extent, yeah,
I think
it's a bit of a virtue signal really of going, aren't I such a nice guy because look at me doing this nice thing for all these women. And I do giggle with that week. It's the busiest week of my career, my calendar, because I have so many business breakfasts to go to. And I mean, it's lovely. I get free croissants, so great, super. But then I think it'd be great if we had this conversation all year.
Yeah,
this
is my point.
Let's all do this. And do you really care? Is that important to you? Or why are you giving your staff a rose or a flower? Or give them what they really need.
Give them a pay rise.
Yeah, give them a pay rise.
Yeah, or
give them some extra childcare. Give them flexi time.
Better training.
Yeah,
more
those
opportunities.
Things are, I
Ask
think if
their
you ask
opinion
any
on something.
Woman what she wanted, the rose is lovely, but she can buy herself a rose.
Yeah. Okay. So you've seen this as well.
Yeah, I think so.
So my question then is that a global thing that's going on? Do you think, or is it? Or
I think so, probably. I mean, I'm not in the position to
kind of
answer that. I guess
hijacked.
I think most of these things kind of, why do we have them? Even last week it was Women in Maritime Day, it's Women in Aviation Day, and I honestly don't really do very much for them personally because I think, listen, I'm doing it all year.
Yes.
So I don't really need to put another post up on LinkedIn to say, every other post is saying that all year. So I'll continue to do my stuff, which actually makes a difference.
Sure. I mean, even the salutations of like Happy Women's Day.
Yeah.
that makes me cringe ever so slightly. It's like,
Nobody's giving me cake. Well, they do actually. They give me a croissant on all these business breakfasts.
Yeah.
But I do laugh at that. Think, well, why? Almost
Yeah.
like pull me out of the cupboard for a week and then push me back in the cupboard for the rest of it.
Exactly. So it just needs to be this continuous input to stuff.
I think so.
Cool.
I'd agree.
Thank you. High stakes business, really stressful, I think, at all levels, whatever you're doing within the role. How do you, either for yourself, kind of manage that level of stress, but probably more importantly, I want to hear about how you kind of guide through the organisation others?
I think for me personally, it's not the high stakes stress levels of perhaps the CEOs of airlines. They're the ones that really have a lot on their shoulders there. Yeah.
But you're dealing with, you're in that environment.
Yeah,
so
I mean, I'm then supporting, the others along the way, but I would never consider myself an aviation professional. I'm not an engineer, I'm not a planner, I'm not somebody who's directly responsible for an airplane being in the sky. However, as I said, as a industry, we're all got each other's back, so we all have to make sure that everything is done correctly and timely. And when people will say to me sometimes, oh, I fancy aviation, but I want to be 9 to 5, not the industry for you. So to help support, I think the answer would be to make sure that we relax together as well, and we have fun together and have a good time together. And we do. And
do you play a role in making those moments happen?
So like every month we have different events, networking events to go on. Next month we are at 1111 in Gazira, and then at the end of the month we go to EasyJet Engineering. We go to different flying schools. We'll have different either speaker events. There's a lot of wine involved.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, give us a visual picture of what a sort of a networking event would look at. So a lot of wine, we got that bit.
Yeah, there's not a lot of wine, but there's certainly wine. We do different things. So each month we do a different thing. Sometimes we'll have facility visits. So we've been to like our corporate partners, Fly People, for instance, EasyJet Engineering, we'd go and see them, Malta Flying School, European Pilot Academy. And really we're getting right in amongst everything that they've got, all their facility, and making sure that we understand how to get in that plane and how that works and how this works. And then afterwards we'll go for some drinks. There's other events that we do. For instance, the next one is purely a social networking. I asked everybody what they wanted to do.
Okay.
And they said that's what we want, a social networking. So we're going on a lovely rooftop in Gazira of 1111.
Brilliant.
And just some drinks and networking nibbles there.
That's good. And what sort of attendance would you said memberships around 600
so we
now?
have, memberships, our online memberships are about 600. Our individual memberships are about 130 now. Okay. And then we have all our corporate partners. So we have 21 different corporate partners.
Yeah, okay.
And then in turn, all their staff are then invited. Yeah. Sometimes, for instance, we were at the golf event recently. We went over to see Malta, Royal Malta Golf Club. And we had, I think, 45 men and women along there. And then at EasyJet, their facility is huge. We can take up to 70, 80 there. So each facility, depending on what we're doing, we'll try and get as many as that want to come along, as many as we can fit. So yeah.
And do you offer sort of affiliated services for people? I'm still thinking about this kind of the maybe stress that people and mindfulness.
No, I don't. Quite often people will come to me, training companies, and ask me how they can get involved. And to be honest, it's just not something that I want to get involved in at the moment. I offer enough corporate partner benefits and enough initiatives without taking more training or on, so it's not something I want to.
Okay. And do you find sort of individual members, they will reach out to you directly as well for particular advice?
Yeah, they will. I think because they know of my recruitment background, it tends to be more career advice. Should they go for this? Should they go for that?
Yeah, well, okay.
And depending how nice my corporate partners are, I'll say, yes, you should.
Exactly.
I won't. But it's for sure that they'll come to me with that kind of questions.
Okay. And celebrating success, do you value that? Do you find that's an important part?
We have, and we started the, Women in Aviation Awards 2024, which are now the Women in Aviation, Marine and Transport Awards 2026, which we will hold in October at the Aviation Museum. So it's a really, it's a super venue. Super venue, and a really special night. And we see just how much it means. We go through the finalists, the nominations, the finalists, and then on the evening, the top finalist is announced. And we also have a male ally of the year, which is the only one I get to decide on.
Oh, really?
So I see how
Okay.
nice men are to me a couple of weeks before and say, see how who's been good for the whole year.
Okay.
And
Brilliant.
Yeah, it is interesting. It's good fun.
That's great. That's really good. Thank you. Thank you so far. We've arrived at, I think this is my favourite part. I love every part of the conversations, but
I'll see how I feel at the end.
this is the infamous would you rather section of Temple Talks, okay? I'm going to fire off a couple of questions. You have a choice to make, very simple. It's one or the other.
Okay.
Okay, would you rather be known as a leader who is universally respected but heavily feared because you demand absolute perfection from your team, or be loved as a highly empathetic mentor but your team occasionally takes advantage of your kindness and misses deadlines?
Oh,
that is horrible.
Nobody wants to be either of those things, do they?
No.
Okay, I think I would have to go for the second one.
I knew it.
By default. Only by default.
Okay. That's a tough one. So you'd be that caring, supportive mentor.
I try to.
Even if people kind of...
I know, I actually, because I have said
the
7
biscuit.
ambassadors, and I threaten them quite often with getting the sack from their voluntary jobs that they get paid nothing to do.
Right, okay.
So yeah,
okay.
I think they would know that I would have to pick that one.
Okay, cool, good. Okay, number 2. Would you rather walk into a corporate aviation boardroom where they give you an immediate seat at the table just to check a diversity box, but they never actually listen to your ideas? So definitely know the answer to this. Or have to fight tooth and nail against an old school traditional board that actively resist change, but when you finally win them over, they back you 100%. That's so
I
easy
think
to
it's
answer.
like,
Can I answer for you?
Do what you're good at. It's already done.
Yeah, exactly. So you'll be in there fighting tooth and nail.
And I have. And it's and I achieved it. So
I get that. I get that impression. Do you deliver those strict messages with a smile always?
Not always.
Really?
Not always. No.
Okay.
Sometimes you have to be a bit tough.
Okay.
And yeah, you have to like push your way in and elbow when you need to elbow, but generally it can be done.
Sure. Good. Keep doing that. That's brilliant. And but not always with a smile.
Not always. No.
Really?
Depends how
So
angry I am. No, I mean I'm passionate about my work and what I do. So yeah, it's not always with a smile.
Would you smash a table?
Sometimes I would flip a table.
Would you flip a table?
No,
really?
I think I used to say that in the early days of starting. The stress level was very much table flipping stuff.
Oh, I think.
But then that's why I had the ambassadors. They would like pull me back down.
Calm. Well, that's good. I think anything that's driven with passion is a worthwhile cause, definitely. Okay. Would you rather be remembered in the aviation history books as the fierce leader who completely rebuilt the cultural flight path for diversity on Malta's 9H registry, or be the anonymous mastermind who secretly brokered the biggest commercial airline deal in Mediterranean history?
Oh, the first one, for sure.
Yeah.
I want to be known for it. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, why not? If you work hard, you should get recognition.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
I'm going to ask you a couple of last questions in closing, because our time's almost done. And I guess this is probably advice for younger generations coming through, younger women. So, if you could go back to your childhood, mischievous or quiet, we don't need to know, and tell her one thing about the life she's about to live, what would it be?
To have a little bit more patience, I think. To understand that if you keep doing the hard work, it will come. But you have to keep doing the hard work.
Patience.
But patience. Not a virtue of mine, but I'm trying my best. So I think that if I can tell myself that today for tomorrow, then I should be able to tell myself that for 20 years ago. It would be helpful.
Yeah, for sure. Patience is a virtue. And my last question, which we like to ask all our guests, you've got a choice. You can either define your idea of luxury for you on a personal level, or describe it in 3 simple words.
I think I prefer to do the first, and I think for me luxury is something that makes you feel comfortable, and it makes you feel safe, and it makes you feel as if that day is a special day. Okay.
So let's go through that slowly.
Okay.
Comfortable. What does that look like? What does it feel like?
Like, it feels like something that feels nice.
Okay.
Yeah. Something to sit on, something to lie on.
Okay.
I'm a Taurus, and I think that that's a lazy sign. And so for me, luxury is very much about being comfortable.
Okay, so something tactile though.
Yeah.
For real. Okay, not just a feeling of I'm in this space, I feel comfortable.
Yeah,
Actually
something that's
okay.
comfortable.
Just a nice fleecy blanket or
Yeah.
a pair of slippers or something. Okay, I like that. And then you said
safe, I think.
safe. Yeah.
So something, again, it's that same feeling that you're being looked after and held warmly. Yeah.
Okay, so that
To
can be
make
the
sure that
space you live in.
even
and
if
the
it's
environment.
a really good waitress at the hotel, she makes you feel safe because she's got you. Yeah, she's got you.
And authority, knows what they're talking about.
Yeah.
You don't need to think too much.
Yeah, someone
I
else
love
is
that.
taking the pressure off you that day.
Okay, and your last one was
Just knowing that it's a special day, so somewhere that you've been, somewhere, an experience that you've had, that you can go home and go, oh,
so
that's lovely.
something where you build a memory and have recall.
Yeah.
of. I really like that. That's really thoughtful. Did you think about it before? It was good.
I promise. I just think about luxury a lot. Being comfortable.
Fair enough. Thank you once again for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure
so much
having
for
conversation
having me.
with you. I have a gift from our partners at
how
Puma
nice.
and Sushi.
Thank you.
If you didn't know them, you will now.
I guess I am
and for
aware.
sure you will need to go and visit. It's beautiful. That's for you.
And as I said,
Thank you.
I enjoy luxury and think about it a lot.
Exactly,
So I will enjoy this
exactly.
for sure. Thank you so
Cheers.
much.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
Thank you.